Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an e-commerce and Amazon FBA business for sale in the beauty and cosmetics niche. Created in July 2016, this business makes $47,052 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the site is 44086. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. How are you doing today, Tanner?
I'm doing good, Jake. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for making the time to be here with me today. Before we dive into the questions that I have for you, I want to go ahead and run through a quick summary of the business. Again, the business was built in July of 2016. It has a monthly revenue of $144,691, expenses of $97,639 to make for a net profit of $47,052, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the domain, site content and files, Amazon Seller Central account, social media pages, and an email list. Inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Tanner, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually started out essentially just being marketing guys, so customer acquisition, all of that. And we found that a large majority of our clientele was in women's skincare. And what ended up happening actually was, I would say a good 70% or so of our clients mismanaged their business in a way that affected us in the long run. So we actually reached out to a couple different developers and whatnot to develop our own line. And that's pretty much how our brand came about in July 2016.
You said we. Is it you? Do you have any partners?
Yeah, it's just me and my partner, Nathan.
So why are you and your partner, Nathan, selling it right now?
We actually didn't even think it would, grow to where it is today. And we're very blessed and fortunate for what it has done thus far. But in terms of passion, it's something that we're finding we're not quite as passionate about. So we want to get into something that, we have more of a little fire for on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So obviously, $1.4 million evaluation, making $47,000 in profit, that's pretty successful, I would say, on a business that you created less than 2 years ago. So what went well when building the business?
The best thing that happened with us was we realized the problems that other companies had that we were working with when we were handling their marketing and whatnot. So we were able to we made sure that all our fulfillment was handled in-house. That's something that was huge to us. We actually worked on perfecting any formulas we have, having clinicals on certain main ingredients and whatnot so that we can back up our marketing claims. And from that point on, focusing on not only the customer acquisition but customer retention as well, which seems to be kind of our bread and butter.
With customer retention, you have an email list associated with the business with 30,000 names that list, 30,000 emails. How did you gather the list?
Yeah, what's actually pretty special about that list is that's not like a 10% pop-up type traditional email list. That's actually a list of buyers. So those are people that have either initiated their checkout with us and for some reason didn't finish, or have actually purchased from us. So when we send out that, our however weekly, biweekly, whatever it may be, newsletters or promotions, we get a much better response rate than it would be, 30,000 just cold leads essentially. And so that was something that we've noticed, especially as that list grows on a month-to-month basis, actually brings in a lot of additional revenue rather.
What percentage approximately, do you have a lot of recurring sales?
Yeah, I would say 20% or so of our monthly revenue is from repurchases, reorders.
And how often do you send out to that email list?
It depends really. It's very seasonal for us. During Q3 and Q4, it's more of our slower season and it's more competitive with advertisements and whatnot. So we pull back some of our ad spend and send out emails maybe once a week even during those times. But during our more popular seasons, we're more of like once every week to 2 weeks or so.
So if you look at the chart and the numbers on the listing, as well as just going off of what you said with popular time of the year versus not popular time of the year, you see, if you look at the last year, you see and it's not like dramatic, but you see a peak in the mid of the year, March, April, May, versus November, December. What causes that spike?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we actually noticed from about January to July is our hot market. There's a couple things that go into that. Our main audience is, or main niche, I guess, rather, is women's skincare, their body, all of that, how they look, their appearance. So the conversion rate for all that is pretty much as soon as New Year's resolutions kick in, that till, midsummer, end of summer, is where our conversion rate, and it seems traffic really seems to flood in. Also, our main advertising avenue is Facebook ads, and we've really dialed in with that. However, during, I'd say, part of Q3 and definitely all of Q4, as I'm sure quite a few people are familiar with, a lot of the big brands come in and try and spend a lot of their leftover budget with Facebook. So you're competing against the Nikes, the McDonald's, these huge corporations that don't really care what they're paying per visit, CPM, whatever it may be. And it gets to the point where the same traffic we were buying January to July, it's the exact same traffic. And now in November, December, whenever, it's 4 to 5 times the cost of that. So we actually realized it's not even worth it to try and go head to head with those huge brands. We're going to scale back a little bit during those times and focus more on profit over revenue and focus again on recurring orders, following up with emails, targeting data that on customers who have actually already visited our site rather than brand new customer acquisition during that much more competitive time.
You mentioned the Facebook marketing. Have you found a lot of success with Facebook marketing? Is that a large source of your traffic?
Yeah, I would say that's a bulk of our traffic, absolutely. And because of Facebook, it's actually opened other doors. We're not experts with Amazon or anything like that by any means, but we've had so many people through Facebook say, hey, why can't I buy your products on Amazon? So we actually ended up just opening the Amazon store, not really knowing what we were doing with Amazon, just so that those customers could buy there. And that has actually brought in a little bit of additional revenue as well. So Facebook's been amazing to us.
So with the Amazon FBA side of things, you mentioned that it's not your forte. It's not something that you are super experienced in, and you only added it because people requested it. You said that you gained some additional revenue from that, though. How much of the revenue for the business comes from the Amazon side of things, and how much comes from the e-commerce store?
I would honestly say 5% to maybe 10% comes from Amazon. We don't actually promote any of our store or anything like that. Literally, like I was saying, we set it up essentially just for those customers that wanted to be able to buy it on Amazon. And so that's a huge opportunity as well for a buyer who understands Amazon's platform and can really scale there. There's quite a bit of opportunity there.
Is the e-commerce store a Shopify site?
Yes, correct.
With the Shopify site, do you currently do anything like content marketing?
We actually have, in terms of content marketing, I'd say it's more influencer based, and also we focus very heavily on video ads and whatnot that we're getting actually testimonials in from our customers, and they're holding our product, talking about how much they like it. And we've actually found that the kind of average day-to-day person with their flaws or whatever it may be gets a much higher conversion rate than, say, like a celebrity or something like that posing with the product. So testing a lot of that, it's kind of cool to see that people seem to kind of go closer towards people they can relate to.
So with the e-commerce and the Amazon FBA, but is it drop shipping, or do you have the product sent to you? Do you make the product? How does it work?
We actually work with a few different manufacturers and have gone back and forth to perfect our formulas and are constantly trying to improve them. But we have a warehouse in Redmond, Washington, kind of near Microsoft actually, and we handle all the fulfillment. We actually have the product manufactured for us and labeled for us and everything like that, and then sent to us. And then we actually hold it here and fulfill the orders, because we wanted to ensure, essentially for customer quality, customer retention, all of that, that we actually have full control over basically step A to step Z, other than actually making the product, of course.
Have you ever thought about taking more of a drop shipping approach?
We actually looked at it at the beginning, not so much drop shipping, but to hire fulfillment center, and we shopped around, and it actually ended up looking anywhere from 2 to 5 times as more expensive than if we did it ourselves in house. And further, actually, we lost control over certain quality. There's certain factors that we just didn't like about going that way. That being said, however, we understand that it's very attractive to not have to handle fulfillment. And so that's part of our terms for the potential buyer is that we are still going to have this warehouse regardless for at least another couple of years. And we actually are willing to handle all of the fulfillment for a given term that we can discuss between us and the potential buyer so that they don't have to actually have the inventory come to them, or they don't have to get an additional warehouse or hire fulfillment. So I think that'll be a huge factor and a huge benefit to the potential buyer.
Are you offering that at additional cost to the sale of the business?
No, that's actually, we're going to include that in the price of the final deal.
Yeah, that's definitely sounds like, as you said, it might be helpful to a new owner. Do you also fulfill the orders yourself for Amazon? Do you ship them to Amazon's warehouses?
Yeah, with Amazon, we actually, to have Prime and FBA and all that, we send them, say, 100 units, 500 units, however much it is, depending on the volume, really. And we basically ship it to one of their warehouses, and then they fulfill from there, that part's extremely helpful because that's basically the lowest maintenance we have sales-wise.
In terms of people working on the business, is it only you and your partner, Nathan?
Yeah, correct.
So what are you two currently putting into the business, and how many hours weekly?
I would say about 10 to 15 a week, honestly. We have anybody else that helps us, designer-wise, anything like that, is all contractor-based and not like on a payroll or anything like that. So, yeah, I would say probably 10 to 15 hours a week or so is the average.
When a new owner takes over, where do you see the opportunities for growth lying for them?
I would say the biggest areas, for sure, Amazon is first and foremost to me. That's a huge market that we honestly just don't understand. And for somebody that does understand that space, they could easily double or triple it right there alone. Facebook, actually, with all of the data that we have generated from spending money on Facebook and tracking it through their pixels and all of that, they're able to create what's called lookalike audiences. And so we're essentially, they can take the data, say, okay, here is people that are most likely to, buy their products. And we're going to create an audience that looks exactly like them of other people. So instead of sitting there and trying to mess with all this targeting data, and there's so many different scenarios you can play with, it's kind of like plug and play where we already have all that data and there's an insane amount of value in that data. And you can also branch out to, like, we're only in the US right now. We have serious international demand. However, we don't have the rates on our end to make it really make sense at this point. If somebody can get those rates down or figure out a way to make that work, Facebook actually, the cost of traffic for, say, South Africa, Spain, wherever it may be, is 1/10 of the cost of US. So there's a lot more room to budge there. There's actually been some demand for us to go to Walmart. We just don't have those contacts either. So it's, I would say between Amazon, the Facebook data, and going international, and then potentially even Walmart as well.
You mentioned that you're only selling in the US right now. Does that include, do you mean like all of North America or literally only the US?
Literally only the US. We use USPS for shipping, and we found that we had an international order. We were accepting international orders up front, rather. And we found that pretty much after they got out of the US with USPS, they stopped updating. So when it comes to making sure somebody actually got their order at the end of the day, we had no control over that. So we looked at a couple other DHL, stuff like that, and didn't hear back a couple times, heard a lot higher rates than what we thought people were willing to pay. So we just figured, let's focus on the US market and really expanding what we have there at this moment.
Do you feel like there are any big risks associated with buying this business that a potential buyer should be aware of?
Not that I can think of. Honestly, the main part there is we're not trying to sell it and just dump it off on somebody type thing. It's something that we've babied and we really hold close to us in value. So we don't want it to go to somebody and fail. That's a failure on our end, in our opinion. So like we said, we're willing to handle and help with the fulfillment. Same thing, we've had the concern come up that what if we can't run Facebook ads as good as you guys. We're also going to be there to help. It's not going to be like, there's not going to be a term, we'll only help you for 1 hour a week for 30 days or something. We'll give out our personal cell phones, our email, all of that. And actually, we want to see whoever buys it grow it into, as big as it can possibly be.
So with that said, during the transition period, you are willing to do whatever it takes to make sure the new owner or owners are up to par, up to speed, and ready to grow?
Yeah, honestly, I want to make sure that the business thrives, and I don't want somebody just to buy it and then not do anything with it. I want somebody to buy it and start to put wheels in motion, take recommendations if they're willing to on certain aspects, and really, scale and do what they can with it.
Would you commit to a non-compete?
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, the best case scenario is that someone comes along and offers a 100% cash offer of what you're looking for, but seeing as this is a, high asking price for the business, would you be willing to negotiate other types of deals, like for instance, an earnout?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with what we were looking at with fulfillment and whatnot. I think that'll probably be something that's seriously beneficial to a buyer.
We didn't mention this earlier, but something that is really cool. We mentioned the Facebook success, but the Facebook page has over 112,000 followers that like and follow the Facebook page. How did you go about targeting the right audience and finding the people to like that page?
We actually saw that naturally and organically when we were running. Originally, we were running just kind of generic acquisition ads. It was just images and pretty plain standard stuff. And then we started playing with more testimonials, came in, making these videos and actually running the videos to this audience that we had, and saw that not only were we getting customers coming in from it, people were commenting, liking, engaging, actually following the page, contacting us, almost like friendly to a degree. It's pretty cool to see that naturally and organically happen when really our main goal was to, profitably acquire customers there.
Yeah, that definitely, worked for you guys because you have, 6 figures of Facebook followers. You mentioned that the large bulk of your traffic comes from Facebook. Have you worked at all with SEO work, with trying to target keywords on Google?
No, we actually haven't. That's part of with the opportunities. We're just a two-man team, and we like to keep it that way. Maybe that's a fault of ours, I guess, to a degree. But for people that actually have a team of people or, have guys that are good at SEO, Amazon, whatever it may be, there's a huge opportunity because our brand is actually being searched more than even like our products, which is shows that we're actually building something serious, brandable, rather than just a one-time purchase product.
Is the brand trademarked?
No, we actually did not trademark it.
Any reason, or just didn't do it?
We just didn't even think that it just wasn't even on our radar, to be honest. Yeah, we didn't think anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you started this, two-man team. It's remarkable, but I mean, this has grown into $1 million business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blessing.
Tanner, thank you for taking the time. I have one final question for you. Before we get to that, though, I want to go ahead and run through that quick summary of the business again.
Yeah, absolutely.
The business was built in July of 2016, has a monthly revenue of $144,691, expenses of $97,639 to make for a net profit of $47,052, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the domain, site content and files, Amazon Seller Central account, social media pages, and an email list. Inventory is not normally included in the list price. Further details can be provided to active depositors. Also included with the sale is the opportunity to have the fulfillment taken care of by the previous owners. Tanner, can you give me your best 30-second pitch on why someone should purchase this business?
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually put in blood, sweat, and tears into this business and babied it. There's a huge opportunity literally just to plug and play. If that's all you want to do is plug and play and keep this business pretty much at where it's at and make your money back that way. But there is a huge international opportunity, Amazon opportunity, like you said, SEO opportunity as well, that you can bring this business probably 3 to 4 times what it's doing right now within the first year. So I think it's a huge opportunity for the right buyer, and we're willing to help every step along the way.
And just to add my own thoughts in here, you mentioned the other opportunities, but let's really hammer home just how strong of a foundation that this business currently has on Facebook and, the stuff that you're already doing with the Shopify site. You're making, on average in the last year, $47,000 every single month, primarily focusing on Facebook. You have a huge following, and if someone came along and, kept the Facebook as is, kept running the ads, learned from you how you do it, but they had the Google experience, the SEO work, and they, had the experience and the time to invest to get the product overseas, this business could, as you said, triple or quadruple.
Absolutely. Even honestly, in US alone, we've gotten a lot of Spanish inquiries. And it just being a two-man team, neither me nor my partner speak Spanish. And so honestly, I'd say 10% of our inquiries on a daily basis are Spanish. And so for somebody that either speaks Spanish or has somebody on their staff or translators, whatever it may be, that alone is another huge opportunity just with Facebook alone. So
how do you handle those questions when you get them?
All we do at the moment, I guess right now, is just say English, please, essentially, and try and see if they do speak a little bit of it. We'll try and help them. But other than that, we'd be going back and forth, punching it into a translator, and it just gets so messy at that point. We don't want to send somebody a link to the wrong thing or tell somebody the wrong thing, So that's another huge opportunity. We've never had the desire to manage a ton of people and have a huge staff or anything like that. We just like to keep it our simple team. And so that's an opportunity where, having somebody even English and Spanish speaking for support, there's quite a few opportunities that somebody that has the actual structure and whatnot can do some amazing things with this. And that's pretty much where we are. We don't want to bring on a huge staff or anything. We would rather release it to somebody who can do what we envision with it, essentially.
Tanner, thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much as well for your time, Jake.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing site and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you, and you will be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.